caption bot in here. And then I think we'll be ready to go. Recognize English. Boop.
Do you need to do the thing where you have like the exclamation mark in front of your name so you're up at the top of the list
Well, I'm going
towards
to
your...
be playing, so I actually need to do something
Right, okay, okay, okay.
sillier. But I think
I was
we
like,
are live. I
I
do
feel like
think
the
the people
number
can
is
hear
off.
us.
They can. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Caption bot seems to be working, so be good to go.
Mm-hmm. Um. All right. Yeah, Skyler, the floor is yours.
Alrighty then. Give me one sec to pull up the blurb. Hello, welcome to the Roll Plus Bond 7th Anniversary Charity Tabletop RPG livestream. My name is Skyler. My pronouns are he, him. This year we're raising money for PCRF, for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. Their mission is to bring medical and humanitarian aid to children throughout the Middle East, with special focus on the Levant, regardless of their nationality or religion. They are working towards a future where all children in the Middle East can easily access the care they need, no matter how specialized it may be. You can type exclamation point donate into the chat, or visit our Tiltify address. Do we have that available? I didn't have that.
I could try and spell it out from based on what's in the chat.
Sorry, is it? I missed the. Is it in one of the Discord stream?
Twitch chat. It was the donate thing popped up recently, so.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
We're
Apparently
going
a
to be
little quiet.
playing.
Could we get the bump up the sound a bit?
Oh,
Yeah, I can up everyone's sound in just 1 second. Is everyone quiet or just you guys? Let's find out.
I might have been speaking a little softly.
Oh, that is much louder.
I'm a touch nervous.
It's okay, happens to the best of us. You should be good to keep talking at your previous volume, I believe.
Excelente. We're going to be playing Realis, a game by Austin Walker. Not fully finished yet, but there is a lovely ash can that's been out that you can pay a small amount of money for. Guess I can just read from the book on this. This universe prizes passivity, except after wisdom gained. Recognizes friendship's strength, but rewards solitary achievement. Shifts in scope and scale according to the needs of the story or the whims of its tellers. Demands honesty and consequences, but care at the table. It is an inverted Twilight mirage, psychedelic space and sword and sorcery. Humbling mystics at the castle observatory, meteors cleaved clean with broadswords, 1,000 moons in fatal orbit, with an unreachable world called Realis. In practice, it is a diceless tabletop role-playing game where we will be talking through a narrative story, and when conflict happens, we'll be sort of pitting the reality of our sentences against each other, and the person with the highest reality wins. Ties goes to the person doing the countering. I am just going to go down the Discord list that I see. I am joined by Ash.
Hello. Are we introducing characters yet, or just us as players?
Let's do characters too. I think that'll do. That'll do well.
All right. I am Ash. I use any pronouns, and I'm going to be playing Fault, who uses she/it pronouns. Fault is the head of a community aid organization, and also maybe has some weird vibes of people being like, "Is this following natural or forced?" Due to being the idle playbook. We can probably go over like sense and stuff later, but that's the high-level pitch.
For sure. I'm also joined by Jack.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jack. Do, do we play like social media on this? I don't think you can find me on Blue Sky if you want. Just look for my name. And then I'm gonna be playing Thicket. Thicket is the Theologicant playbook or class for Realis, and is a kind of like cleric going through a bit of a crisis of faith about the mortality of gods and the lack thereof. So yeah, excited to play Thicket today.
Excellent. I'm also joined by Jenna.
Hi, I'm Jenna. My pronouns are she, her. I will be playing Rita Tadita, a sort of like failed wandering knight who has pledged herself to our mission for this game of Realis. Yeah, I think that's it.
Excellent. And I'm also joined by Percy.
Did you say your playbook?
Oh, Rita is the Peregrine.
Excellent. I'm also joined by Percy.
Hi, I'm Percy, they, them, or Zem, pronouns, and I will be playing the Quintessent, and their name is Reset, and they're sort of a former, Unspoken that was summoned and then tried to be put into a body, and then that didn't work, so now they're kind of a weird, ghosty little thing.
Ooh.
I really like the Quintessent playbook. I don't want to spend too much time on mechanics, but I figure that for people who are unfamiliar with Realis, I should start by mentioning just going through what every player character begins with, and then maybe going into a little bit of detail with sentences.
Yeah,
So,
sounds good.
every player character begins with 4 class sentences, which are they sort of describe aspects about you, and they are how you interact with conflict and the narrative. They usually follow a sort of similar structure of I always blank, or when such and such happens, I always blank in order to take action. The There are also similar sentences that every player character begins with that are bond sentences, which describe the state of a relationship between player characters. These, your class sentences, and a couple other things are sort of classified as means, which is just how the book describes how you interact with conflict in the narrative as a whole. Also, every character starts with a dream sentence, a specific, single-use, extremely powerful sentence that all player characters begin with, representing some deeply held goal or ideal. Is that something that people would like to go over and share?
Yeah, feels relevant to like knowing who the characters are and stuff.
I think so. I think we can go through bond sentences and class sentences as we play. I think
Do you want to bring
just
up the band sentence?
oh yes, we can also do the band sentence.
Okay.
Does anyone want to introduce the band?
I can introduce the band since I'm in control of when the people see that. Our band is named The Many Such Cases. Um, we are a group of people dedicated to anyone can stop me if I'm saying something that's wrong. We are dedicated to changing Realis in a dramatic way where I think we are on a mission to change the world such that everything will be different at the end of it. The fundamental nature of Realis will change, right?
That's my hope.
Okay.
We looked
That's
at
what I'm hoping for.
the beautiful tableau that Austin_Walker set up for us and said, but what if no?
I think it was different, actually. Our band sentence is when we work together, we always expose the truth of Realis. Our foundation sentences are: our story doesn't glorify or zoom in on violence, although we recognize it may happen. Our story shows that individuals deserve to matter. Our story always recognizes individual achievement, but acknowledges the sonder of society. That's a vocabulary word. Um, and our story really wants you to donate to PCRF. Please, pretty please. Um, yeah. Do you think we're good
Awesome.
there? Okay.
We'll just go down the line. Ash, would you mind describing your character's dream?
Yes. Like I said, leader of a community aid organization, and my dream is to destroy all objects of worship. Normal dream.
Extremely normal and good.
Truly the most
Uh,
normal.
Jack, would you mind telling us your dream? Or your
Yeah,
character's dream, that is?
different, very different dreams. My character's Thicket's dream is I will find the truth behind the life and death of the divine and bring its comfort to the people. So very funny in context with faults, in my opinion.
Many such cases.
Many
Many
such
such cases.
cases.
Jenna, would you mind describing Rita's dream?
My dream is to protect the world of that which rots it from the inside out. Um, Also extremely normal.
Totally normal. Percy, would you mind describing Reset's dream?
Yes, Reset's dream is I will carve a new future out of the parts I have been bound to.
Oof, good stuff. All right, so I think that's enough of an introduction to the game itself. I think I should probably go ahead and introduce the sort of state of affairs, as it were, the campaign we'll be playing in today. Um, there was a point in time in which a collection of powerful individuals, um, some of them known as Radiants, folks that have made it to the center of the galaxy, the beautiful Realis itself, and returned. Through a collection of heretical technology, magic, and ritual, they speculated that peak happiness throughout the system would reach its highest point at 72%. And when that magic number was reached, they set Realis on cycle. It's not exactly Groundhog Day, but moon sentences can't change. People are stuck in the same fates. The same types of people and the same types of problems are getting recycled over and over again, which is great for folks that, moons that are experiencing a golden age, moons that are experiencing peace and prosperity like they've never seen before. But it also means that 28% of people are stuck suffering forever through this cycle. And we have some characters that have ideas about that and would prefer that to change. And we're picking up in media res. The way I sort of saw this intro is alt. I think your group has acquired an orphan vessel, one of the few spacecraft able to traverse the moons, and your group has your like the clasp has put together enough resources to ferry you to the sort of headquarters of these folks in charge. The horizon of events. And when, the camera first opens up on the band leaving the ship, and do you have any like clasp member names like ready to go?
Not ready to go, but you did give me like 20 seconds of lead up. That might be an NPC. So this is this is Thackeray Wild. It was kind of like shorter, kind of like big old grizzled beard, kind of like slightly bleary eyed. Was kind of like waving us off of the ship, and I'm I don't know if this is exact what's happening, but Fault is saying I hope you can make it back to pick up your children in time from their. It'd be like a summer camp kind of thing. I know this was a bit of a longer journey than you're used to.
Yeah, they give a big hearty chuckle, a slap on the back, and say, "Well, I I wish your group the best of luck. I wish I could stay, but know that you've got support from the clasp from afar. Unless you have any NPCs in mind that you'd like to bring with you. One of your sentences as the idol is I always direct the followers of my organization to my ends. And I don't want to put you in a situation where you are left without followers. Do you have some NPCs in mind that are accompanying you?"
Hmm. So we are here at what do you say, the Horizon of Events,
Yes, that is what the moon has been named.
Mhm. Which is known to be the headquarters of this group that's kind of been keeping things like in static formation. Uh, I
I've
don't
been calling
think that
it
I,
cycle.
yeah. Mhm. I don't think that I brought people with me specifically to like help out or be part of this mission. Uh, Either they were busy or too dangerous or had other stuff going on, whatever. I think I am hopeful that there will be some people who, even if they aren't already members, could be convinced to join and like participate in our goals and that kind of thing, even here on this moon where everything is happening. But I don't think I have any that are like ready and like coming with me.
Excellent. I just wanted to make sure I didn't cut off your
Mhm.
currently most uh, real sentence.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll make sure to make that choice to do it for you.
I will just go ahead and start off with our first conflict. You arrive at the entrance to the Horizon of Events, and it's going to attempt to use a moon sentence, or a sentence against you. In Realis, we sort of have a conversation about the narrative until a point in time in which uh, conflict arises. When that happens, the current actor will pick a means and describe their dramatic intent. Uh, as the initial actor here, my what's is there a shoot? What's the shortcut for text wraparound in
Oh.
Sheets?
There's like a button, 3/4 of the way through the bar that shows like a little like arrow like looping back in on self.
Yeah. It's next to the arrow that's pointing
Hey,
at the ground.
gotcha. Thank you. Uh, the horizon of events always resists change. The moon feels something out of cycle approaching it, and its doors remain shut. Its entrance. I imagine this to be like sort of like a palace hanging in space, lit by the harsh light that Realis itself is sort of like casting on it. We would sort of consider this as close to Realis as, normal folks or even, just most folks in general could possibly get. Um, and it is a huge, blue marble and gold structure. And there are these, you know, giant 10, 20-foot tall, imposing marble doors that are remaining closed, with the dramatic intent that the Horizon Events wants to get you to leave.
I'd like to use my
It wants to
dream.
convince you that there's no way in.
Kidding. Just
Uh,
activate dream at the first sign of conflict.
hey, you got one in the chamber.
We
You
each get
don't know its
one.
reality yet, but is there anyone who can counter? The Horizon of Events always resists change.
And the literal thing that's happening is that we need to go into a build. What is this building that has the big doors that are shut again?
It's the Horizon of Events, a grand and opulent palace-like structure that sits at the closest point of Realis itself.
Is this just like floating in space?
Yeah, I have always thought of Realis following Treasure Planet rules, where space is just like outside. You can still breathe out in space, but if you like get thrown off your ship or slip and fall, you'll just fall into the abyss.
Okay. And the doors here are barred, or like are not opening for us, huh?
Yeah, I think there's like a main. There's sort of like a courtyard that has a landing space for vessels. It's where your orphan vessel landed. There's maybe even like some greenery that's been cultivated, uh, or a small fountain, just some decorations out front, some small steps, and then giant imposing doors that seem to be refusing any chance at opening them.
Mm.
And you are here to sort of, as I understand, make a case or change the folks that have imposed their will on Realis. And to do that, uh, you know that they reside in this structure.
Man, if only we had someone who could ignore doors.
Like some sort of ghost or something. That would
Yeah, that might
Yeah.
do it. That
help.
might do it.
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah.
maybe if one of us was already dead, or we could like kill one of us and they become a ghost and then just pass through.
Oh,
I think we're really onto something here.
Yeah.
you're really onto
Yeah.
something.
Um yeah, how do we feel about countering with I am always intangible to just get through these doors? Although that doesn't help me get y'all through these doors, I guess.
Unless
Yeah,
it's like a
just
button on the other side.
Hmm.
Once it's countered, then it's no longer affecting, right?
That's correct. When a sentence
Yeah.
becomes countered, we strike a line through it and we treat it as if it is written in the negative.
Another way to go about it too could be using I always wield a spectral or elemental power. I feel like making something else intangible could really be a spectral power.
Mhm.
Mm.
True. Um yeah, I guess what hmm. I feel like keeping that one in the can to do something more different from my other sentences uh is would be more interesting potentially. So I think countering with I am always intangible to me makes the most sense. But
Go for it.
okay.
So you've declared that you're countering. You're using I am always intangible.
Yes.
Now, every character starts with their token charged. You can use your token to bump your reality up one level. Do you
Yeah.
want to use your token now? With with the
Uh,
caveat that defenders win ties. So if you're countering, you will succeed
mhm.
if this is a level 0 or a reality 0 sentence.
Yeah. Um
Uh,
and then how
Checking
do I
from a gameplay
recharge my
perspective.
token again?
You can do one of two things. You can follow an impulse, either your playbooks or the moon impulses, or you can perform a tragic success, which is invoking a sentence seeming like a success, but while also getting the band further into chaos and trouble.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, fuck it, I'll spend the token just to be safe now.
All
I
right.
do want to ask, with moon
Oh,
sentences and how they're being written, do those also reflect the more complicated they are, the higher the reality is? So like this one, the horizon of events always resists change, feels like a like a zero sentence, zero reality sentence. I don't know if you could have that be like a level two sentence or something like that, and have be phrased the same way.
The book doesn't make any sort of specifications, but I, as the person running this game, have always tried to follow the same rules that players have to follow when making sentences, which I think is
Okay.
only fair.
Mhm.
There are rare opportunities where you don't have to follow those requirements, one of them being ephemera.
Mhm.
Ephemera don't have to have any qualifications to have increased power. But the way I see it is I even if it's something I've imposed on myself, I have always tried to follow the same steps to realize sentences for my NPCs and my moons.
So we can get some clues for like what the level the sentence
Yeah,
might be.
you're
Spending
right.
Yes.
tokens
You're
still
right. I didn't think
will
about that.
probably be safer, but wanted to at least confirm if we knew one way or the other if that might be a factor.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying now where this is definitely pretty broad. Um, but I'll just still spend the token because then that forces me to do shit that's more interesting later.
Better safe than sorry. Go ahead and mark that your token has been spent. And I'll reveal this to be a reality zero sentence. I'll mark it as struck through, and I'll check one of the boxes. Once this is full, for both characters, NPCs, and moons, they can be realized, you can uncross them, and you can increase their reality by 1. But you also have to add some sort of restriction or caveat to the sentence to make it more specific. Hopefully we'll be able to see that later in play. Uh, but for now, your intangible powers work here. Describe what it looks like or what you do to make it so that the horizon of events never resists change.
Um, so okay, so I'm literally like flipping this to the inverse is how this works.
Yeah, what's happening here is that the horizon of events resisting change, that has been sort of manifested as these big imposing doors, but
Mhm.
that's also a facet that is true of this moon. It would be doing other things to resist you changing it.
Mhm.
Now, at least until this scene is over, it can't.
Yeah, I think I think maybe this starts as just like reset, like literally just sort of like phasing through these doors, and that is like sort of a metaphorical opening of the doors as um they like pass through. Maybe they're I've described them as sort of being like not like standard like ghost, you're just like pale and gray, but kind of like this like iridescent like oil slick sort of vibe to them. And maybe we watch that sort of like spread across the doors a little bit as they like crack open kind of
Ooh.
so that the rest of us can make it through.
I really
And
like that
maybe
image as like
yeah,
these like marble gates. You're like oil slick as you pass through them, just sort of like slowly spreads, like you've blashed some of the paint onto like a perfect white canvas, and it just continues to spread.
yeah. And I think while like I'm still intangible, maybe this like oil slick across them as they spread makes it so that then yeah, these are just normal doors. Well, not normal, but like now people can just interact with this sort of thing. It's reverse that. They can be moved. It can be changed.
Excellent. Well, you guys have found your way inside, uh, and I guess I should sort of describe this place. Um, inside it is just as opulent as you would expect it to be. Lots of like beautiful staircases going to upper levels, and hallways with sort of like avant-garde art. This is a place that wants to seem respectable, wants to seem powerful, and wants to seem opulent. And tending to this place are folks that seem to be frozen, and they are moving like little stop motion animation clay figurines. It's a little hard on the eyes, but once you get adjusted, you can see that they're like polishing some of the walls or cleaning up maybe something that spilled. Uh, I think one of them goes to like clean up the oil slick and then notices you all, and then all of their heads snap to you guys entering the facility, and there is just a long, awkward pause. No sentence being used against you, but there's a sort of awkward air in the room.
Uh, this isn't. I'm not trying to like. I guess I am trying to make a narrative shift. So I don't know if this might get countered. I want to use my "I always garner affection" sentence um, to just like step forward and say, "Greetings. We are a representatives from the rest of the wider universe of Realis, here to make a petition for an alteration of the current state of affairs. If you could you please point us towards whoever is making decisions? We can ask them to make different ones."
Another pause, and then they turn to look at themselves. They sort of group up in the center and begin to whisper. And one of them stands in front of you. Um, Again, this is like a person that has been encased in a thin sheet of ice, and they are moving sort of disjointedly. But they seem to be able to still speak. Uh, and uh, oh, I forgot to ask. When you are using your means, what's your dramatic intent here?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Like, what do I want to change narratively? I would like these guys to be not actively hostile, they seem to kind of be already, and then to be helpful in guiding us to where we need to go. To
Um,
recognize that our reason for being here is valid, and if not, supporting it, not like standing in our way.
yeah. I won't ask you to use your token here, because this sentence isn't being countered. I don't have anything here, at least in this current scene, um, that isn't already a countered sentence that would be resisting this. Um, so I think there's some more murmuring, and then the one that came out ahead nods to you and says, "Oh, yeah, yes, of course." Um, and one thing I would like to add, um, Rita,
Yes.
I think you might recognize, maybe not some of them, but there's one person here that you recognize,
Oh.
um, that leads you to a conclusion. These folks are Leo suzerainty, or at least they were at some point.
Hmm. Are these like noble peoples and other such like the Leosus Renti is full of like weird nobility, or are these just like other rank and file soldier types?
I I'm gonna say it's a grab bag.
Hmm.
I think the person you recognize is maybe nobility, but you also see attire here that would indicate like attendants or sort of lower ranking folks of faith. But you recognize someone of nobility here.
Okay.
Just a detail I wanted to add to the scene.
Do they don't recognize me though, right? They're not like staring daggers at me. They're not like mad at me.
Not yet.
Okay, cool.
They haven't really noticed you. I would say all eyes are currently on Fault.
Score. Awesome. No one's mad at me yet.
Um, And the one that
Many
came out in
such
front
cases.
says,
Any such cases.
yes, of course. Well, you'll the the cycle leadership has 4 pillars that you'll need to most likely speak with. Um, there's there is uh, uh Titeline, um, which I believe one of your retinue is familiar with. Uh, Clatter is here. You'll most likely need to speak with them on the matters of reincarnation and such. Um, you'll also need the approval of our information specialist, Venture Vice, and then inevitably you'll need to speak with them. And they turn to look at their retinue. There's like a long gulp, and they turn back. And you'll inevitably need to speak with the head, um, Mr. Impending, Agnum.
Excuse me for a moment. Did you say Clatter?
Uh, yes. Um, when our order was first formed, uh, and in the cycles that continue, Clatter has provided much aid to us.
Hmm.
I'm sure he would love to hear what you all have to say.
I think you all just see like Thicket just like goes kind of rigid. Um, and just like nods lightly. You all would also know that Clatter was Thicket's like original god of worship. Um, which I'm sure has been talked about at some point. Wears some Clatter iconography, does still worship Clatter, but also just like has like a larger kind of like retinue of gods that are worshipped and practiced and all that kind of stuff. Hand goes to a skull at his waist, which he then kind of like thumbs and like you can see there's like a small hole being worn in the side of it from just like this nervous tick, um, but just nods, doesn't say anything.
I think my bond with Thicket might be relevant here. Could I read it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Falt's bond with Thicket is I will prove to Thicket that the gods can and should die. So upon hearing that the deity Clatter, which I know that Thicket used to worship or still does in some form, is here and possibly working against us, not saying anything, just gonna turn and give a little bit of an eye towards Thicket, just like, what do you think of that? And we'll just be keeping an eye on that as we progress and eventually go and speak with them.
Quick aside question: How? I don't think Thicket's ever met a god, right? Like
Yeah.
this is not a thing that really happens.
No, when we spoke about this stuff in character and world creation, um, you mentioned you being a cleric, and we also talked about, um, potentially that there have been deities that are the products of empire,
Yeah,
but those are still, as Fault puts it, objects of worship. You know,
yeah.
being able to speak with one is a really rare opportunity.
Mm.
But I also see this
Okay.
as a potential like culmination to a campaign that's already been long standing that we're just picking
Of
up in the middle
course.
of. So I felt like it would be a good opportunity to give the Thicket a chance to speak with, well,
Oh
someone so
yeah, it
important.
is. It is certainly an interesting one, and we'll see how it goes.
And, you know, at the risk of being a little corny, these are all names you folks recognize.
Mhm.
Rita, your former Lord Teetling is apparently here. Um,
I was thinking about that. I wanted to wait until we got out of the clatter zone, but I think there's a grit of the teeth at that, you know?
for sure.
Also, I just realized I don't think we talked about our characters' looks at all.
That's such a good point. Oh, that's too bad. That's a really good opportunity. Should we go over that now?
Sure.
Yeah, in this moment where Rita's gritting her teeth, go ahead and give the description of her look.
Yeah, so Rita is a dark skinned woman with very long braids that are tied into like two big buns kind of on the back of her head. She has like very worn Leo Suzerainty armor, lots of like blues and yellows, like blues and yellows on the. I'm imagining like a metal armor, right? And then blues and yellows on like the what do you call like the cloth stuff on armor? I want to say pageantry, but I think that's for horses. Um,
I have no idea.
I don't know. Anyway, so she's got all that big shield on her back, and a broken sword at her hip. Um, mhm. um, yeah, that's Rita. That's what she looks like. Very sharp features, but like big smile. You know.
Hmm. And then we should also get a description of the hand that is wearing a hole into the skull at your side thicket.
Not
Yeah,
the rest of
totally.
just the hand.
I actually have a picture that was drawn for me that I'm gonna just put in our chat.
No
Um,
way.
because I couldn't find a good space to put it into the sheet. Um, but if someone who's better with Google Sheets wants to try and pop it in there, you're welcome
Oh
to.
man, that's rad.
But
I
yeah,
can
I
make a spot
think
for it on the main screen.
thank you. But Thicket um Thicket is like I think a little bit on the like average side in terms of a lot of capacities. Um, so like average build, average height, but has like a pretty striking dress. They wear this cloak that's like brown and green that like is kind of looks like if you just like pulled a sheet of moss off the ground and turned it into a cloak. They have a big bag on their back, and then underneath that cloak, kind of hidden, are all these bones that hang and can kind of clatter against each other and make a little bit of noise as Thicket moves through a room. And then just has like a lot of different bones from the long dead. Again, Clatter's the god of the long dead, and so basically just uh, uses these bones for rituals, but also has all these other pouches and things on their person that are filled with different little materials for all these different faiths that they help people practice.
That is sick. Fault, why don't we get a description of your character as as Clasp's biggest competitor, or perhaps even just like general bully has been mentioned. Venture Vice is the CEO of Vice News, who has been covering your journey to Horizon's End and talking shade and just being a general nuisance, spreading misinformation. Um, you know, I, if you know, in earlier seasons of this show, you would have had to deal with annoying reporters, or when you were showing up to other moons, you'd have to deal with the fallout of Vice News having like basically almost ruining your entire group's reputation.
Mhm. Yeah. So Fault is looks to be kind of like a more senior, maybe like 50s, 60s woman with like white hair pulled into a tight bun, suit that is like perfectly tailored, it's like navy with veins of gold running throughout it, and glasses which she pretty regularly will like take off, polish, and like replace with a different pair, either in terms of like shade or size or like whether it's sunglasses or normal, etc. Seems to have a bunch of different pairs that just kind of swaps between. And then also has a weird floating like rune just kind of like hovering and slowly rotating behind her head. Uh, And I think that on hearing that Venture Vice is here and is like participating in running things, is just going to give this like slow little smile and just go, ah, this is nice and efficient.
And then,
Quick question,
oh, go ahead.
now that Fault has finished being describing. Was the Vice thing intentional?
Uh,
um,
oh, intentional for what?
uh, just like with Vice
Vice, the
Gaming
news
stuff
company
and
that,
like Vice the
yeah.
news company, where
Oh no!
Austin used to be.
What have I done?
Austin_Walker, if you are listening, this is a message directly to you.
What? No, no, no. Hold on. Hold on. Uh, is this something we need to change about my notes? We can call this Venture News or something else.
It's
No,
really
I don't think
funny,
so.
I
I just
think.
think it's very funny.
I think
All
keep
right.
it. I think keep it.
Unfortunately, I don't have enough Austin Walker lore to know what I've done.
Vice News does have a Wikipedia page,
Oh,
so it's at
that's
least
of
that
course that's a
valid.
thing that's already existed.
I did.
All
So
right.
did you really not know?
Nope. I was trying to come up with
It's a good
a
name.
name for like
It's a great name.
a slimy little news sleazeball. I liked the V alliteration, and I was like, ah, Venture Vice. And then obviously he names the company after himself.
That's hilarious.
That's great. Okay, sorry. We can continue. I just did need to know if that was intentional. Um,
Nope. I'll be thinking about that for the rest of time. Um, but yeah, reset. Um, you that oil slick is uh slowly continuing to spread. Everywhere that you walk and interact with in here is leaving very, very small traces of yourself. You're not
interesting.
losing any part of yourself, but you are having an effect on this place. And what's it look like when you observe that? Describing your look.
Yeah. So I described earlier kind of like this oil slick vibe, rather than like your standard ghostly like grayed out or whatever. It is still a little bit like transparent, translucent. Like it's oil slick, but not like like if you took oil slick and turned the opacity to like 80%, I get kind of deal. Um, but other than that, they kind of look approximately like the body that they used to be slash were forced into, etc. Um, and it's sort of like a very masculine sort of look, and they've got sort of like a military style jacket kind of vibes, but they're all sort of this oil slick color. It's not like you can't tell hints of what the colors were before. And then unless they're really like thinking hard about it, they don't really have legs. It kind of just like gradually fades out as their body approaches the ground, but they can have legs if they're like paying attention to it, I guess, is the best way to phrase that. Um, but yeah.
I really like the Quintessent playbook. Um, and the look is fantastic. Well, you guys sort of have an impetus of where you want to go. Um, what's the plan? Does anyone
So
have any like strong feelings?
we got information on how we are related to or aware of Titleine, Clatter, and Venture Vice. Do we have the connection to Mr. Impending Magnum?
Yes, Agnum Impending, or they were referred to as Mr. Impending. Um, I think I think there's no way any of you don't know about this individual. Um, he is, I would consider to be the reason as to why you're here. Um, he's the one you guys are eventually going to need to make your final case to, and as he was the one who formed this group and sort of the main operator in setting Realis on cycle. And you know of him sort of like you would know anyone in a position of power, but not personally. I don't think any of you have. I don't think he's ever been on camera, so to speak.
Mhm.
But you know his name.
With that information, Fault's vote is to go directly to Mr. Impending first. See if we can persuade the person at the top.
I think Rita thinks that's a bad idea. I think Rita thinks, well, I just don't you think it would be maybe like a little bit better if we had more support? Cuz like I don't want to get either metaphysically or quite literally flattened by Mr. Impending. Personally.
It seems to me that if this person is going to create and run this organization, they probably, if we could convince them on our side first, the rest would follow. If we convince the rest, I have no indication that they would change their mind at that point. If we believe it could be wiser to start with some of the other, not lackeys, but side pieces, uh, and then work our way up to the top, that is also meant we're going to need to talk to all of them at some point or another.
Saying that this is Mr. This is out of character. Saying this is Mr. Impending and his side pieces does have a certain connotation.
Yeah.
You're so right.
I was
that's
I
on
was
me.
also thinking about Magnum Impending being a new line of condom.
I did. Magnum Impending and also his side pieces is. Uh, we're, we're getting into.
That was not my intention, but I'm glad we're here.
Yay!
We can all just
This
have
balance
this
as
back of
a-
our
multiple
minds.
levels,
These are great
and
names.
from higher up, you hear someone shout, "Side pieces," and then walking quickly down the stairs. And someone from over a railing looks at you with utter contempt and goes, "Ugh, you goons are here." And then jumps down, lands with a dramatic thud, and sort of dusts off their you know uh, like blue and gold attire. Is a fellow with too much gel in his hair, beautiful embroidered suit, and he sort of is being surrounded by little cameras. Uh, this is Adventure Vice. Having been insulted, he stands before you and says, "Yeah, you guys are gonna need all the help you can get." And the nerve! Side pieces? Do you have any idea how much control I have over this place? And he sort of like flexes, and the little cameras are like flashing and uh, covering what's happening.
I have an idea of how important you think you are, but I'm afraid you could be replaced very easily if Mr. Impending decided that you were no longer a good fit.
Uh, Grinding teeth? Let's see. Let's go
But
ahead and
if you
use
have decided to show yourself already, we can begin with you and then work our way up.
let's go ahead and use another sentence. I think it's about time. We'll modify one of these little things. Adventure Vice. Boop, and
Something that I've discovered through the joy of role-playing games is that while I don't do this in real life, it can be very fun to just be real snarky and mean to people in a game.
It's very fun. Um, Skylar, I don't want to burst your bubble. I can see you on the spreadsheet, though I cannot
Oh,
make
no.
the camera go look at that.
shoot. I have an idea.
Put it in this. Put it in this zone. I can make the camera look at
Yeah.
this.
Boop, boop. Boop. I guess one can just. That's not what I wanted. Can we do? Yeah, that's how we do it. Nope. Let's spell words properly.
It is very difficult. I think we all sympathize.
Do text wrap. Boom. I always wear prestigious attire to intimidate others. With the dramatic intent that he wants to make you guys feel small and insignificant. And, you know, he sort of like flexes again. The light of Realis catches some of his like attire, his like weird blue and gold tuxedo, and it like he sort of like flexes in a way that intentionally reflects it into your eyes, as to like try and like catch you off guard or blind you, and says, "Oh, you guys are lucky I'm even here."
It
Does
does
anyone
save us
have
some
any?
time having to hunt you down later.
For sure. Does anyone have anything that can counter "I always wear prestigious attire to intimidate others"?
I have a really funny pitch.
I'm here for it.
So, Thicket, you have the sentence, I always hear the whisper of the countless demons when I listen to bones.
Yeah.
I forgot. I forgot how insane that one was. Okay, cool.
Uh-huh.
Just do not care at all about this guy, because, like, no. It's, whatever you have going on, I'm wearing the ghosts of, like, demons. I'm sorry, are we supposed to be impressed
have
by your voiceless decoration?
I do think that it's kind of similar. It's a little different. I think that I have just gotten so wound up over, hey, the deity that I worshipped as a child is either real or someone is pretending to be them, and like there's a lot of different aspects to it. And so I think I am consulting my oldest oracles, which are the bones of the long dead. So I think this guy comes down here and then he just sees me like putting a skull like right up to my head and just looking in its empty eye sockets and just like kneeling on the ground and not paying any attention to him.
Well, damn.
Would you like to use your token?
Um
What means are you using again?
I always hear the whispers of the countless demons when I listen to the bones, which is my reality sentence. I think
Go on.
I think that it is interesting here if I fail, and I'm just as happy with either outcome. So I'm not going to use my token. I'm just going to leave it at the one reality sentence.
And again, your intention here is to make him seem like, or is to reveal that he is not the center of attention.
It's less even that he's not the center of attention and more that like there is no one center of attention. Like you can try and you can pull in some people, you might be successful. I'm not even thinking of you as a possible center of attention right now. So almost to like indirectly like kind of break up his game a little bit.
Awesome. I will reveal reality 1 sentence, and I'll put a strike through.
Okay.
Yippee!
As counters or as a defenders always win ties. So
There we go.
you're countering with the reality 1, which means his reality 1 sentence becomes countered. I'll mark check a box next to it, and I'll describe a little bit what this looks like, and then I'll let you sort of have the spotlight. After he says his, witty comeback, like, "Oh, you guys are lucky I'm even here." One of his cameras just begins to like try to capture your little ritual thicket, and it just like the lens on it cracks and it falls to the ground, uh, like your ritual or whatever it is you're doing seeming to interfere with his technology. And he goes, "Well, that's it." But he's interrupted by some of um, the attendants of the horizon of events pushing past him to look at what you're doing.
I think
Some
that
of them like rush over to like begin to look at your practice, sort of like
yeah.
pushing past him and just totally, you know, throwing off his groove, as it were.
I think that the practice, um, it's largely thicket listening, and I think that thicket hears in this instance. Um, I don't think it's ever like super direct. I don't think it's often words, right? Um, but this time the whispers come from the footsteps and the migration of people around him, um, as he like as he's doing like this very active listening to the environment, to this object in front of him, um, and is just like so ensconced in his faith that I think Vice just like feels like, that thing when you go like too big, where you're like, oh, I actually thought that I was able to like handle the amount of bravado that I am popping out into the room right now, but actually, oh shit, I everyone here just thinks I'm kind of a fool. Like I went too big with it. I went too grandiose. Um, and in contrast, this deeply earnest thing makes me look like such an asshole. And that moment you realize that you kind of look like an asshole. Um, and I think that that Vice is just feeling that very discreetly and very internally.
Yeah, we get him sweating. Takes like a long gulp, stammering to try and form a comeback or something to say. We get his view of the room as he looks to see you doing a little ritual. There's a ghost in the room. There's an oil slick, like some sort of like weird oil slick spreading across the palace slowly. The the frozen attendants are acting up and aren't doing their job. His technology's going haywire. It's off to a bad start. He's just sort of like grumbling furiously at himself. Um, does what you hear guide you in any direction, Thicket?
I think that it's I think that what it feels like is, oh, whatever we are about to do, there are a lot of people deeply interested. This is not just a like solitary endeavor. We are not the only ones that would like change. We're in fact backed by a lot of people who see the state of the world and recognize that it could be better. And I think that's what like the whispers of footsteps and shuffling and of coming closer of interest. I think that's what that tells him.
Interesting. All right, well, I'll throw it back to you. You've got an annoying new CEO in the room, and you've got folks to talk to. What do you do?
I have a question.
What you got?
As you said that one of these ice covered folks was like trying to, or at least one of them was like trying to clean up the oil slick or whatever. Does it like crawl its way onto the rag and then eventually crawl its way onto them, or is this like a only affecting the um like things that are physical parts of the moon rather than people who are on the moon kind of thing?
Hmm. Do you have a means you would like to, or do you have a sentence you would like to invoke here?
Um, I don't think I have a sentence I'm trying to evoke. I think this was like a clarifying question to see what
Yeah.
was
I see.
up with these
Is this
people, I guess.
flavor or narrative intent, I guess?
Yeah, this is just flavor, I think, for insight into potential, like what this looks like, I guess, for moving forward. I
There
don't
was
know.
a small attempt made to try and clean up the oil slick, but it wasn't doing anything. It was
Okay,
almost like it had permeated what you had touched, rather than being something that had like spilled on top of it. So when
gotcha.
the attendant took a rag to it and tried to like rub at it furiously, it was just like nothing happened. Uh, and then the thing that Thicket did sort of like caught everyone's attention, so they sort of just like dropped the rag there and left to go see what was happening.
Cool. And then like you said a thin coat of ice, so it's kind of like a aura sort of thing, but it's ice rather than they're like in blocks of ice, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't see them being like full ice cubes, but it's clear that whatever the person that they used to be or the person that they are right now has been frozen over.
I
Hmm.
kind of want to learn, get some insight onto like what these folks who are just working here are experiencing, or like what's going on in their heads, and kind of ignore uh what's his face, Vice, Vice, uh Venture Vice, um because I feel like um that'll like give us better insight into like the operations of this place besides like the cameras. And also like check that these people don't need like letting out. Probably they probably do. Um
Hmm. What's that look
but
like?
um you said all their attention was sort of drawn to Thicket when this happened is kind of where they're at right now.
Yeah, Thicket's whisper ritual has really seemed to catch the attention of the frozen attendants that are here.
Um I think maybe Reset is like just trying to like sidle up to one of these attendants, as it were, as however much sidling you can do as a ghost. um but like that kind of vibe, and maybe like trying to ask something about like how they feel about this venture dude, or like, oh hey, this is interesting, are you like do you know about this kind of stuff with the like ritual, like that kind of vibe, I guess, like kind of just like the like small talk angle, I don't know, to maybe get something more. I don't know that
Uh,
that's small talk, but
yeah. Let's let's try and go bigger. Describe your dramatic intent to me, and then maybe we can work out a means from there.
I think um my intent here is to like understand what why these people are here, and like who they are, and like who's put them here kind of thing.
And which sentence are you using for that?
um I mean, I feel like this would be, I always force others to confront the truth of their emotions.
Interesting. So this is
Because I feel
you.
like if there's something being repressed there, that might help it not
Ooh.
be.
All right. Uh, I will let you know there is a sentence I will be attempting to use to counter you. I will give you
Okay.
the sentence before I let you decide whether or not you want to use your token.
I
I
have
feel like
already
that's
spent my
fair.
token. I
Oh,
can't.
that's right. Oh,
I don't have a token back
fantastic.
yet,
Oh no.
unless
Um,
I forget what else I need to do that. But
so, uh, is it on? Recharging your token. You invoke a tragic success. You can realize a bond, which will recharge both players' tokens, or you can act on an impulse, either your spheres or the current moon's impulse, to recharge your token.
okay,
You
we're definitely
can
not at the point of
also,
realizing a
uh,
bond, so it would be the tragic success or the impulse that would do that later. Okay.
yes, you can also hone a sentence. Once per session, you can hone a sentence, giving it +1 for the rest of the session. When you do, give it a temporary condition as if it's been realized, increase its rank by 1, and then mark the sentence as if it had just been countered. And then you make a note, either write it in parentheses or brackets
Mm,
that you know that it is temporary. And then you can remove the condition and rank at the end of the session. And you can do
okay.
that before sentences are compared, but not after you realize the result of the conflict.
Okay. So, hmm.
So like
So
when
it's a
the
temporary
others. Oh, go on.
condition. So basically, I'm pretending that I have um realized this sentence for the rest of the session. So a
Yeah,
level 1 sentence or a level 2 sentence, I guess,
it
is what
would
this one
become a
would
level
be.
2 sentence, but you would also need to add some sort of condition or restriction, just like you realize a
Yes.
sentence that is temporary for the session.
Okay.
It's also
Um.
automatically countered at the end of the scene, so you couldn't use it in the next one if you wanted to.
Okay.
Hold on, really quickly while we are thinking about a roll. I believe we've just passed $1,000.
Whoa.
It was a while ago, but
Oh no! I just noticed. Oh no! I'm a clown. Um.
Ah, it's all good. I believe the proper term is Zanny.
Oh no! I'm a Zanny.
that's worse.
um. But yes, thank you to everyone who's donated. We had an $100
That's incredible.
anonymous donation. So excited for the stream this year. And a lovely $25 donation from my boyfriend Mac. Thank you. And a $23 donation. I don't know. 23 is such a funny number to me there. I don't know why you would go about donating $23, but it's great. Anyway, continue.
If you're watching, explain. You don't have to, but I am curious also.
Mhm.
Um. Anyways, yeah. If I were to hone it, would something like I always force others to confront the truth of their emotions while under duress be enough of a restriction there?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
That would also require you to be putting this person or these folks under duress, which sort of colors the scene a little differently.
Are they okay? So they're not already under duress by being encased in ice.
No, this has become their status quo.
Okay.
This has become their existence.
Um.
Which, you know, you get a little bit. The
Yeah.
Horizon's frozen suzerainty always stays vigilant for change. Is the sentence attempting to counter you?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I lost the back half of it.
That's all right. The Horizon's frozen suzerainty always stays vigilant for change.
And then the ties go to whoever's attacking,
Countering.
whoever's countering. Okay,
Yes.
I see. Um, ooh, what's another way I could hone this? I need a second to think of. Um, that maybe if someone else is actively doing something while I'm doing this, pivot away for a second, but I am trying to think as fast as I can.
Sure. Uh, Jenna, you haven't had a chance to, um, well, use a sentence or do much. Is there an impulse or is there something you'd like to do in this scene?
Hold on. I just gotta really quickly highlight our foundation sentence that we always donate to PCRF. Everyone should donate to
Yeah.
PCRF. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know how to highlight something in Google Sheets, but I'm gonna do it like that. I think that Rita's in over her head a little bit. These are Rita's not a media person. She doesn't know what to say to this guy who owns Vice News. Owned by Disney, by the way. Um,
Mm. Space Disney.
it's Disney. Um, but I think that she is just sort of like has pulled out her shield, just in case this dweebus does something untoward. Um, Not in a threatening way, just holding it. Um, but yeah, I don't think she's taking dramatic action quite yet.
That is okay.
Unless, well, I'll say that if fault, not fault, reset is unable to do anything there, I do think that's the kind of thing that Rita could help with on account of knowing these people. Um, figuring out stuff about them.
Yes,
Hmm.
at the very
Good.
least, we've learned that they are something called the frozen suzerainty.
Hmm. So I kind of want to see the end of that before I commit to anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, Percy.
I'm not sure. No, you're good. You're good. I'm not sure I have something in mind for a good way to hone this in this
In this
situation
moment,
right
this
now.
person is distracted. Is that something you might
Hmm.
want to add? I always force others who are distracted to confront the truth of their emotions.
Um. mm,
Or we could take the L.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe take the L. Um. Or yeah, I think we'll take the L here and just not hone this.
Sounds good.
And see what happens.
I
I'm
will
pretty sure
reveal
that's a reality one sentence, but yeah.
a reality one sentence for the Horizon's frozen suzerainty always stays vigilant for change. Um,
So I mark this and cross it out for now,
yes.
correct? Because I
Uh,
can't use so the
yeah,
strike
there
through
can
goes
be.
away in the next scene. Is that correct?
Yes, at the beginning of the next
Mm-hmm.
scene, I am still considering this the same scene.
Yeah.
I don't think anything has meaningfully changed about this scene.
No. We'd have to go
So,
somewhere else.
Is the
uh,
first moon sentence still countered? The Horizons events always resist change?
yes.
Okay.
Um, but this is the Horizon's frozen suzerainty always stays vigilant for change. So I
Okay.
think what happens is you reach out a hand to begin a conversation, and as you like close the distance to tap them on the shoulder or on the back of the on their back, you can see that your presence begins to very slightly melt away at this layer of ice. And they seem to notice that and snap around, and you realize that you've been a little surrounded. And they don't do anything violent, but they
Right, because they're
do.
still influenced by the like helping us sort of thing, right?
Yes, uh, they do. They surround you. They ask you, "Oh, what are you doing? If you need guidance anywhere, or if you need something to drink, or a place to put your They sort of look at you around the side. Place to put your uh, jacket? I can take that for you.
I
Not
think
really
I
sure if the jacket is part of you or something you wear.
I think it's part of me. I think they're also sort of like uh like stunned for a moment, like thrown off kilter by being essentially like iced out, pun intended, of like trying to get the vibe from these people. Like I think they have gotten a little bit accustomed to being able to like read these things that are like emotionally kept hidden a lot of times because that's just something they can do now, that they've gotten used to. So like being like stonewalled like this is, and then surrounded is definitely overwhelming. um so they're like, yeah, they're just like stun locked here for a second, I think, and are eventually just like, no, no, I'll keep the jacket, rather than explain that it's a part of them.
The ones that have surrounded you in unison all just go, hmm, and then scurry off. Uh,
Mad that I can't remove a part of my body so they can help me. Anyways, okay. Rita.
Rita, did you have a plan to act if Reset wasn't able to accomplish this?
Well, I was gonna leap in with a big shield when everyone is surrounding Reset, and then it was just a bunch of people being kind of catty to them. Um, so
still happen. There's
still
still room for
happen.
that to happen in that scene if you would like. They're not
Um,
being aggressive, but they are definitely being rude. And
no, and they're definitely weird.
oh
Um,
yeah,
so I think that maybe this is Rita. Uh, hmm. Now, see, there's a fun thing in Realis on a mechanical level that I think is very interesting, where I know that they have a +1 sentence, and so I'm trying to find a way to either orient my situation such that I do not trigger that sentence, or use my +1 sentence uh, to try to get the leg up on them. Now, I do not know how I would possibly use I always wear the distinguished shield of my past services in defense of another to try to learn more about these people. Um,
Yeah, you'd also have to hone it
yeah, I could spend a
if
token.
you're doing it. Oh, you have a
Some
token,
of us
that's
have
right.
tokens still.
now
um,
Can you can you hone and use a token on the same sentence at the same time?
I believe so. Yes.
yeah,
Because you could do that to I always call in a favor, potentially. But that's a lot of
that's
steps.
that seems like so much juice to to ask these people a question.
Or you could trigger your realization on your determination one and then use a token. I don't know.
That's a
Throwing
lot of
things out there if you don't have ideas for your reality one sentence.
that's a lot of juice. No, I think I have an idea. And maybe I'm wrong, and we'll see. Um, I think, and I don't think this is an in-universe decision that Rita's making to try to circumvent a sentence. I don't think that's how this works. Um, but I do think that Rita is sidling up to, as they sort of disperse from Reset, uh, one of the Leo Suzerainty folks that she knew that she can recognize, um, and is trying to go up to them and say, hey, um, are you doing okay? Like, I remember I'm going southern. I don't know that I should yet. I don't not yet.
I remember back when I tried to kill your
Now I
boss.
remember back when we used to be drinking buddy now. Um but just walking up to one of these people and saying, "Hey, fuck it. I guess she's going to be southern." I can't stop myself. Um hey,
Feels meant to be.
are you doing okay? I can't help but notice this is mighty different from how you used to be. This is not the what's the name of this person? This is not the Theodore I remember. And I also don't quite remember you being in uh the in the Horizon of Events castle in space last time. Um are you what happened to you?
Uh, their stop motion body like turns to you, and I think they look up at you. I think this person is a little shorter than you are, um, and meets your gaze with eyes that have been glossed and iced over,
Ooh.
and they just respond with, "Titeline has given us new purpose and a new role to fulfill.
The Teetling?
She will be amused that you're here, but but you should." And they turn away from you.
Okay. I have now been given motivation. Rita is going to turn to Mr. Vice News and say, "All right, Dorcas, I need you out of my way. I gotta go talk to someone better."
He grits
Um,
his teeth and goes, "If I show you where and how to talk to the other pillars, will you please just leave? I'm sure you'll want to once you see how futile this all is."
I realized in person I was doing this. Rita is like looking to the others, like, should we do that?
We'll leave when we've gotten what we came here for, but we're not simply going to walk without at least attempting to make some kind of deal. I mean, you of all people should know Mr. Venture, right? Scrolling back up. Yes. Venture. Nothing is gained without something being lost.
I think he just groans. Ugh. Listen, you've got your work cut out ahead of you. And I would love to watch you guys fail. So why don't you lot come
You
with
always
me?
are.
He sort of motions you over. And he begins to make his way, he just walks down one of these many hallways. Um, but to color some context as to where he's going, Thicket, is there any familiar iconography of Clatter that we can recognize?
I think in a
Bones.
similar way, I think in like a similar way to how Thicket dresses, it is a lot of so Clatter is like the god of the long dead. So like things that have been dead for a long time. And I think as a result,
So like
it's
dinosaurs and shit.
well, dinosaur. If you find dinosaur bones, the Church of Clatter's like we need them. But um, I think that in general, a lot of the iconography, bones for sure, but bones that like weren't extracted from a thing, like fresh bones, you do not want as objects of worship. But like ancient bones, ossified bones, especially, 100%. I think it's that, and then like very rusted metal objects, and they're all hanging like chimes, so that in a similar way to what Clatter wears, they all kind of like tink against each other, like they all just like scrape and clank and like make noises. Um, and I think that's a big part of it. So like as we're walking through, it's like almost like beaded curtains, but if the beads were made of like ancient objects and remains.
So is Clatter also still wearing mainly that kind of iconography, or have you moved? Or sorry, not Clatter. Is Thicket mainly wearing that kind of iconography, or has that changed a lot?
There's some of it. They have a few bones like strung along their arms and such, and they still wear. Clerics of Clatter have like different like eyebrow piercings, basically to denote like their rank within the cult,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, and I think Thicket still has their piercings in, but I think that they wear a lot of objects that are not normally Church of Clatter or Cult of Clatter oriented. So like the cape that they wear, like the little or not the cape that they wear, the cloak that they wear is very like fresh and vibrant. It is a sign of life and not like a sign of like long past decay. Um, and I think that like there's a lot of things that they wear and mannerisms they have that they've adopted since.
Sick.
Yeah.
Cool. I was just asking for flavor mostly, or like if
Yeah.
we recognized this as being very similar to you, and it sounds like not quite anymore.
You definitely recognize like the similarity in the sound of like when Thicket's
Mm.
walking around and how that sounds, and probably what we're hearing as we walk through this space, but in a much louder capacity.
Okay.
Can I try and get
All right, one sec.
something out of Venture Vice as we are on our way there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just something along the lines of, uh, I know that you don't do anything without some intention behind it, and we are here to see if we can come to some kind of deal or compromise that sees Realis moving forward in the future. So, Venture Vice, what do you want? And I would like to invoke my level 0 sentence. I always get wrapped in the dreams of others to try and understand Venture Vice's goals, and then perhaps to either work around them or to see if we can find a different way to work towards them while still accomplishing what we want.
Interesting. Um,
My token
I
is already charged. I don't get anything out of this if this goes badly, but
well, I think you catch Venture off guard a little bit because I don't have a sentence to counter this. I guess Venture we reveal Venture to be a little weak to a genuine interaction, more or less. And he sort of looks at you, surprised that you've even like bothered to come up next to him as he's leading the way, and he scoffs and goes, "Yeah, I, I just, I want things to stay the way they are, just like everybody else here."
is that because
Um,
there's something in particular that you want to maintain, or you're just scared of losing?
what does it? I, I'm not. I don't lose anything. I just,
Pointedly
we're
looking at the crossed out, I always represent a tire to intimidate others sentence. Yeah, you never lose, sure.
deep sigh, and he goes, "I'll tell you what I want.
What I
I
really, really want.
want
Oh,
to be rich and famous for the rest of eternity. That's what I want."
Many such
I
cases.
mean, kind of obvious, but
many such cases.
But he says this with a sort of scowl on his face,
hmm,
and I would say through the use of your sentence, you've maybe come to the realization that um, that is what he has been scripted to say.
Mhm. That he is also, like many others, not allowed to change.
Yeah, the same news every cycle,
Hmm.
the same events happening consistently. He gets to relay that information, but I mean, a news outlet that doesn't.
Yeah, I guess the news is pretty boring if you are already know what is gonna happen.
Mm.
And you've heard him give his, he does the like opening ceremony, the effective New Year's for the cycle, um, when fate and reality sort of resets. Um, he seems to be one of the few people that can retain long-term memory through the cycles. There's a part of him that seems really tired in this moment.
Mhm.
His suit doesn't fit quite as well as it did in the previous scene, and we might catch a certain angle to see a few bags under his eyes.
Well, if that is truly your desire, then why not join hands with us and we'll see what we can do to make it happen. But if you ever change your mind and want something a bit more exciting, a bit more revolutionary or invigorating than repeating the same propaganda, the same pamphlets, the same day after day, let us know. We can try and make that happen too.
He
We're
gives you
open
a
to
look.
discussion.
How did you even? Ugh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, whatever. I'll keep it in mind. And he sort of trails behind. He's still leading, but somehow manages to end up next to you, Thicket, and goes, "I hope you're ready. This guy's a lot."
I think Thicket uh, doesn't look at him, just nods and says, I, more than anyone, may know just how. And then I think just like thinks for a second before finishing the sentence. And can I use a sentence on myself? Is that a thing you can do?
What's your dramatic intent?
I think I want Thicket, who, for all intents and purposes, is very much a religious scholar, knows a lot about many of the gods they studied, but also grew up um, in the cult of Clatter. Um, I think normally would be pretty good about going into an encounter with some aspect of divinity, with an element of assuredness with their personal knowledge, right? With their skill, with their craft. And I think that I would like to use I always doubt, my fourth class sentence, and basically say like Thicket is doubting himself in this moment. He's doubting his own ability because he never would have expected Clatter to be in a place like this. And he never would have expected Clatter to be in a corporeal form. He never like all these many things are really throwing him off his game. Um, and I think his own doubt is getting the better of him. I don't think this needs to be a like external type thing, but Thicket is very much doubting himself right now.
Is this?
I think you can just say that.
I
Yeah.
think also Jenna points out this could be an illuminating failure that you're
Mhm.
choosing to do.
Oh, yeah, I think that really works here.
Once per session, you may frame a scene where any of your means automatically fails, allowing you to deliberately mark it. It's then countered until the end of the next scene, unlike a regular failure.
Yeah, I think this is the Thicket won't be able to express that doubt outwardly, because it's so focused internally.
Could this be that it's a different sentence that's being like illuminate failure here? Like you can't make the presence of the divine felt among others for the time being due to this doubt?
I think this is. I think I'm gonna lock the doubt one because
Okay.
I think that they're gonna go into this Clatter interaction being like, well, obviously there's a sincerity here, right? Like to there's something in this interaction that I fundamentally can't doubt because I lack the ability to know that I know better, right? Like how could he assume that anything that Clatter says will be untrue fundamentally, when he can't even like confirm the things that he knows for sure? Because I think I always doubt is great when you're facing a god that's maybe not in the right.
And I
Or
think
maybe not
Venture
even
sees
real.
this in you, and we get a little, scene of him with one of his camera drones covering this quote unquote action, and he just goes, "Oh wow, you are really not prepared for this interaction, are you? This is gonna be
No, I
fun to
wouldn't say.
watch."
Just again, solemn nod, hand on the skull, again, kind of carving a small hole into it.
Uh, he looks back at you, Fault, and just gives you a big grin, big horrible little goblin grin.
Uh,
This is who you're teaming up with? Oh man.
I will ignore Venture for the time being and just pass closer to Thicket and say, "Your faith has led you this far. Don't let anyone else decide it for you."
Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then just again, nods, gives you eye contact.
All right. I think the hall has been slowly, at first the decor was like clashing with the opulence that the palace was trying to project earlier. But as you've gotten closer and closer to Clatter's domain, the decor and the general vibe of the place has shifted. And Venture inevitably just goes, "All right, this is as far as I go. Uh, you guys can make the rest of the journey on your own. I'm sure you'll be able to make it back in time for hors d'oeuvres or whatever. Have fun. Good luck. Don't die." And he gives you a big smile.
Is the vibe we're picking up that he doesn't want to go in here, or that he can't go in here?
The vibe that you're picking up is the same vibe that you would get from someone who is talking about a really annoying neighbor.
Ah.
Okay.
Like, Venture could come with you guys to go talk to Clatter, but he would really rather be doing literally anything else. I think it might even say as much. Uh, and then Thicket, you see the entrance to Clatter's domain.
I will invite Venture to at least move the video drones with us so that he can at least catch the interesting footage, even if it will never be allowed to be aired.
He chuckles, and you're wearing a sort of you, your attire, Thicket. Um, you're wearing a cloak, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the camera drones like beep, and flies out and sort of reveals that it has hidden itself inside of your cloak, taking shelter.
Okay. I think before we walk through like the entrance way or like deeper in, um, Thicket says, everyone, before we proceed further, there is a ritual that the cult of Clatter performs before entering a tomb. I believe it to be appropriate. Um, and just like hands all of you a small like white shard that you realize very quickly is like deeply desiccated bone, like old bone. And just says, just hold it close, and it will grant you protection.
I'm going to refuse that little shard of bone, uh, and just say, if they mean us harm, I doubt a ritual will protect us, even if it is of them originally. But I will take my chances.
Okay. I
Was that
look
an
at
object
you.
of worship you offered me?
Yeah, very much was. I
Ooh.
I think that normally what you see from clerics who you reject this kind of stuff from is probably a little disdain. I think here, with the amount of like inner turmoil this boy has going on right now, you see like a respect in your self-confidence, in your ability to take care of yourself. And there's like a slight smile that crosses Thicket's face that then immediately returns to stoicism.
Uh, I guess I will also be refusing. I think that is. I think that that is the correct maneuver.
I I think Reset does take this, which means I have to figure out what them taking this looks like. Um, but I do think based on our bond uh and me kind of chasing where you're following with with this obsession, there's like a curiosity in taking this and also like again like following your lead on that.
Yeah.
I guess for clarity for the chat, our my bond with Thicket is that I can't ignore the strength of Thicket's obsession over his crisis of faith. I'm scared of getting lost in it too, but I will follow where these anxieties guide us in hopes of answering my own questions. So yeah, Reset does take this bone. I think um I think I think he takes it in their hand, and I think it sits in their hand for a moment, and then this oil slick kind of subsumes it too in a way, and then it appears as if it's like a little badge on their jacket, like because this was like a gift given to them. I think is what this looks like in this particular situation.
That's rad. Sorry, I don't have anything exceptionally cool to say about that other than I really like it.
No, you're good.
Um,
Sorry. The little chuckle was just at the merit badges in chat. um, but yeah, so that's the situation.
with that, I will also count this as a new scene, so folks can clear any sentences that have been crossed out,
Except
and
for
also,
Thicket,
oh, go ahead.
whose sentence is still countered. Because when
That's
you
right. I always
illuminating
doubt
failure
is
is
still
counted in
countered.
the scene.
Thank you for reminding me. I think this is also a good time to do a quick break if folks are ready.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
How long do we usually break for? I'm not used to any of this.
Depends on the group, like 5 to 10-ish minutes usually, but if people have stuff, it can take a bit longer.
May I ask for 10 minutes? Meet back at the top of the hour.
Yeah, let's do a 10 and a
Sounds
be back.
good.
Yeah.
Awesome. See you in a bit.
Mm-hmm.